Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I want to start a new segment on this channel called Movie Club or BluMonkey's Movie Club. You're probably thinking, what is BluMonkey's Monkey Club? Well, basically it's an overview of all the movies I watched in the entire month. Some of them a bit of a backstory to, others more of an in-depth chat. Some just breeze through, give my opinion on them. The movies featured in this monthly movie club are from the 60s up to the last year, 2019. I did watch some movies this month pre-60s, which is this set here, the Buster Keaton Complete Short Films Collection, 1917 and 1923. I will be posting a video about this later on, probably the video after this video, so I won't be mentioning these films today, but I did watch these this month as well. I won't mention TV shows I watched this month, I might save that for a separate video as well. Let's get into the video. Today, it's movies, mainly comedies. The current climate does not make me feel like watching many serious films. I just want to take my mind off things, and so you'll find that a lot of these films are comedies. The first movie up is Crossplot. Now, this movie came out 4 years before Roger Moore took up the mantle of James Bond, and I really wish I'd seen this movie a few years earlier. Not because it was mind-blowing or anything, but because I actually had the chance to attend an evening with Roger Moore where he told his life story and there was a Q&A. I didn't get a chance to ask him any questions in the Q&A. I didn't really know what to say, and to be honest I was a bit starstruck. But if I did have a question, it would have been about this movie. It is a spy movie. A Roger Moore spy movie before James Bond. Now, he's not a spy in the movie, but a few parts of this movie, if you'd told me that it was some long lost James Bond movie or from an alternate universe where he did more James Bond movies, I'd probably have believed you. So while Roger doesn't play a spy in the film, he plays an ad executive who hires a model who overheard a plot for an assassination, and that's basically what the film is about, them trying to stop this plot. A good watch. It's definitely worth your time checking out, especially if you're a fan of James Bond. I'll splicey the clips in of when I went to see him. Next up was Light Up the Sky. I was interested in watching this because I'm a huge fan of the British sitcom Dad's Army, and this stars Benny Hill, who I don't know a lot about. I know he's some sort of famous comedian. I think he had a show years ago, before Dad's Army, during Dad's Army, but this turned out to be a lot more of a drama than a comedy as it supposedly advertised, or when I was reading up on the film. It was a okay watch, 90 minutes, black and white. I like war films, especially ones set in World War II. That's one of my favourite historical periods. It's just so interesting. You can spend your whole life learning about World War II and you'd still never find out 90% of what happened. You barely scratch the surface. But I thought it would be a lot funnier. I thought it would be a cross between Dad's Army, maybe a carry-on film, because Benny Hill has a reputation of running around chasing women, and everyone will know the classic Benny Hill theme. I thought it would be more something like that, but it turned out to be more of a serious piece, especially the ending, which I won't spoil in this video, but that ending, man, that hit. The Beatles help. What can I say about this? It's a cash cow, really. If it wasn't for the fact that the Beatles played some songs in it, I probably wouldn't have finished it, to be honest. The plot around the ring and everything, it just seems like a cash cow after Hard Day's Night, which probably made a lot of money, and during Beatlemania there was probably the high demand for product, but I don't know, it just wasn't really good. It jumped all over the place. 1 minute they're in a field with soldiers, 1 minute they're in like the Alps, Switzerland or something, skiing, but nah, I didn't really enjoy this. The best part was the music bits, which essentially are, if you cut out the music bits and present them as music videos, that's all this movie's really worth. Really. Disappointed in this. I was looking forward to it. There was a few funny moments, a few Beatley jokes. Their humour is very unique, I find. If you ever watched Indiana Jones and thought, do you know what this movie is lacking? Chuck Norris. Well, Firewalker's the movie for you. This is just Chuck Norris playing Indiana Jones, pretty much. It's adventure film in the desert. I can't remember if he has a whip or not. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't think he had a hat. But yeah, if you like action adventure movies, this is an alright watch. If you love Indiana Jones, you'll probably be appalled, but you're disappointed that he never went to Africa in any of the movies, then this is for you. Prom Night. What can I say about Prom Night? It had Jamie Lee Curtis in it, and it's a slasher movie. After Halloween, slasher movies picked up. This is another attempt at a Halloween, I think, but it just fails in that attempt. I'm surprised that Jamie Lee Curtis was in it as much as she was, to be honest, but as a slasher film it fails. The kills are not very good. It's just trying to cash in on Halloween pretty much, and what's left after Christmas and other holidays. Prom Night. Raise the Titanic. When it comes to this film, I thought I was expecting a movie I watched as a child many years ago. I can't remember what the movie was called, but I'm sure it involved the Titanic and raising it, or at least going down and exploring it, or something to do with the Titanic. If you know what the movie is, please tell me, because this was not it. But this movie, very slow paced. I think it's about 3 hours long, or it's well over 2 hours. If not, it felt like it. But it's an interesting concept to raising the Titanic. Everyone knows the Titanic accident and the tragedy that bestowed on the people. There wasn't enough lifeboats to get half of the passengers off, I don't think, but it's an interesting concept. Pretty in Pink is one of the last John Hughes films I hadn't seen. I'd seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Weird Science, all that jazz. I think there's only one of the big ones left is 16 Candles. I need to watch that one, but I've seen Breakfast Club, seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off, seen the rest of them. This was one of the last ones left for me, really. I enjoyed it. Great 80s film. There's something about John Hughes films that I can't really explain, but they're just great. Great movies. Iconic movies. Jumpin' Jack Flash. This was Whoopi Goldberg's first movie, I believe. I enjoyed this movie. Great action adventure. Not adventure. Um, what would you call it? Action, thriller, suspense, comedy. It was a very funny film. There was some great scenes with Whoopi. The ending was a bit of a letdown. Jumpin' Jack Flash is not what I expected the character to be. There was a few moments in the film where I thought I'd figured it out who was actually, but yeah, the reveal of Jumpin' Jack Flash was a bit of a letdown for me. Wheels on Meals is a Jackie Chan film, part of the Three Dragons series. It's directed by Sammo Hung, who plays one of the dragons, and as well as him, Yuen Bien is the other dragon. This film is great for a Jackie Chan film. The end fight scene between Benny the Jet Li, is it? I believe he's called Benny the Jet Li, but that end fight scene, there's one moment, especially when Jackie's on the floor and he jumps up and I don't know if he kicks him but it's a near miss kick and it's just mind blowing. And when I was watching the film, I played that back a few times just to try and figure out how it was done. But it's Jackie Chan, and as we all know with Jackie Chan, he does his own stunts, and that fight is great. One of the best I've seen of Jackie Chan, and I've seen pretty much all of Jackie Chan's films now. Highly recommend this if you're into martial arts. Check this one out. Great watch. John Waters is an interesting filmmaker. Crybaby I've never seen before, so check this out on Amazon Prime. It stars Johnny Depp. The only thing I can compare it to is a cross between Grease and maybe an Elvis film. But this was a good watch. I'd watch it again. It's a musical. I don't think Johnny Depp does his own singing, but I want to own this film now, so I think at some point I'm going to have to pick it up, but this was a good film. I want to watch more John Waters films. He's an interesting filmmaker. I know the whole thing about Divine. I've got that documentary, and Johnny Depp was great in this film. Wild at Heart. I am a die-hard fan of Nicolas Cage. I will watch anything Nicolas Cage is in. I think he's amazing. Unironically, I think he's a great actor. A lot of his movie decisions may seem questionable to others, but he likes to push limits and try different things, and I respect him for that. A lot of people see his compilations of breaking down and just some batshit crazy batshit crazy meltdowns. But if you actually sit down and watch his films, he is a good actor. You can't deny it. You're captivated by him, no matter what he's in or what he's trying to do with the character. But this film had a bit too much sex for me. I don't mind sex scenes in films, but I don't want to see Nicolas Cage get down multiple times in the same film. That was a bit difficult to sit through. Yeah. But it's David Lynch film. I've never seen it before. I'm happy I've seen it now, but it did seem like it lingered on Nicolas Cage sex scenes too long, and I don't need that in my life. Tail Lights Fade is a cross-country road movie. I can't really remember a lot about this movie. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this movie. Nothing sticks in my mind as being memorable of this movie. Probably never going to watch it again. Yeah, don't really have any thoughts on this movie. Probably stuck it on just to pass some time one day. I think Gary Busey's son is in this. I may be mistaken, but I just stuck it on to pass some time really, and it did its job, but aside from that I can't really remember anything about it. Jawbreaker. Jawbreaker was great. I'd never seen this one before either. 90s film. I'm a sucker for 90s teen films, comedies. I love the plot of this. To kidnap a girl on her birthday, and one of the girls, while they're tying her up, sticks a jawbreaker in her mouth, and while she's in the trunk she chokes on it and dies, and it's really about them trying to cover up what happened. And one of the girls from the school is sent to drop off some homework for her, and because of that she overhears what happened and she sees the body, and now she becomes a part of the clip, basically replaces this girl. But yeah, this was a fun watch. I'll definitely want to watch this again, and I will buy it again. Buy it again? I will buy it. Duh. Exit to Eden. One of my favourite films is Ghostbusters, and Dan Aykroyd is in Ghostbusters. I thought I'd check out some Dan Aykroyd movies I'd never seen before. I wish I'd skipped this one. I didn't like it. Yeah, Rosie O'Donnell, I'm not a fan of her. I've seen her in another Stakeout. I wasn't a fan of her in that movie either. I mainly wanted to see it because of Dan Aykroyd, and I don't know, I won't be watching it again. Definitely not. It wasn't really funny either. It's supposed to be a comedy. It didn't hit with me. I didn't enjoy it. Won't be watching it again. Another Dan Aykroyd movie I watched this month was Celtic Pride. Much better. I'd watch this again. Another one I've never seen before. I love the plot of it. These two guys, Celtic fans, kidnap a player to prevent the other team from winning. Can't remember his name. Marv from Home Alone. It was nice seeing him in another movie. This was a good watch. Yeah. Just Looking is a coming of age movie about a boy who in the summer break decides that what he wants to achieve in the summer is to watch two people have sex. That's the plot, that's the idea. Young people trying to discover what sex is. This was a good movie. I enjoyed this one. There's a lot of things in it that I didn't see coming, which is good. Now living in the age we do with technology and computers, and we can just go on the internet and find out anything we want at any moment. Back in the 50s when this movie's set, I can't imagine what it would have been like trying to find out these things, especially when people weren't happy to teach you, and you had to go about it yourself and just find a magazine in your dad's drawer or under your brother's bed and try and figure out what's what and how it works and what you do with what. Yeah, I like this film. It was a nice coming of age story. Four Rooms. This movie was batshit. I always thought it would be cool working in a hotel on the desk, and because of all the interesting people you would meet and stuff. But if I worked in this hotel, I'd want to blow my brains out. The guests in this are something else, really. Quentin Tarantino's in this. Bruce Willis has a little part in this. Antonio Banderas has a part in this. The scenes with the kids are hilarious. Just seeing this bellboy pushed to his limits on New Year's Eve. Each room he goes to, something else escalates it, and it's just a great watch. I want to watch this again. Okay, we're in the last stretch now, just a few more movies to go. I'm going to try and speed it up a bit and talk about them a bit less, just to get through it. I think this video is already going to be pretty long, so I'm going to try and shorten that as much as I can by just speeding things up, yeah. Live Virgin. This film I wanted a 90s version of Weird Science. This is not a 90s version of Weird Science. I Love You, Beth Cooper. Again, I'm a sucker for teen comedies. This is another teen comedy. I enjoyed this one. The Whole Nine Yards. This film, Matthew Perry from Friends, just because he's in Friends, and whenever I see anybody from Friends in a film, unless it's Jennifer Aniston or Courtney Cox, anytime I see any Friends actor in anything else, all I think of is Friends, and that just takes me out of it. He was a distraction, which, when he's the main character, is not what you want. But Bruce Willis is fine in this, it was alright. What Women Want. This is a brilliant film. Mel Gibson can read women's minds. Can you imagine having the power to read a woman's mind? I think I would hate it, but at the same time, just for a day or a week, I'd take it. Because What Women Want, Mel Gibson has the ability to read women's minds. What more do you want from a film? This is great. Would I like the ability to read women's minds? I think it'd be very interesting. I would like it for maybe a day or a week, but idea is great for a comedy. There's a lot of funny moments in this. It's also very heartwarming as well because his daughter, because he has this power, he makes it up to his daughter and they connect better and they talk more than they ever did before. The Big White. I wish Robin Williams was still alive today. No matter what he's in, whether it be dramatic, comedic, he knocks it out the park in pretty much everything I've ever seen him in. God, I miss that guy. But The Big White, great dark comedy. I love dark comedies. The producers. The idea behind this film is they want to make the worst show possible and make a bomb. What better idea to make a bomb out of but Nazis? Nobody likes Nazis except Nazis. So making a play about Nazis or a musical, you wouldn't think it would go down as well as it does in this film, but yeah, it's quite an entertaining film. I want to see the original, the 70s with Gene Wilder, but I have a sneaking suspicion that one's probably a lot better than this one, but this was an enjoyable one, yeah. John Barrowman was a shock. I didn't realise he was in this until he popped up as a blonde Aryan singer, dancer in a little musical bit, but yeah, that was a shock, but yeah, I want to watch the original now. Honey Boy. This is Shia LaBeouf's life, but it isn't Shia LaBeouf's life. He has made a biographical film about himself, but at the same time, it's about somebody else, and he plays his father in it. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. There's a lot of Easter eggs to Shia's career, like Transformers and even Stevens, that you might recognise. His life story is presented here through the eyes of somebody else, pretty much. And it makes me really sad for the guy, because going from this how he perceives his childhood and growing up. It seems like he had a not so great father, and maybe later on in his career and life when he was having all those outbursts of just random projects, which I loved, but at the same time, for him to be doing them, is that a reaction to his upbringing? And yeah, just it made me think a lot. It made me a bigger fan of Shia LaBeouf than I was before. Changeland. Recently, I've become a huge fan of Macaulay Culkin through his BluMonkey's podcast, and his podcast turned me onto this film. It's directed by Seth Green and it stars Seth Green. He's in the Philippines. Don't really know much to say about this one, but I enjoyed it. Anything Seth Green's in is great. Macaulay Culkin in this, representing the bunny ears. He seems to wear them everywhere now, which I don't mind. I think it's cool. I love his podcast, and through his podcast, it's turned me on to a lot of his other films like Good Son and The Mighty, The Page Master. Yeah, I hope he does more movies in the future. The Aeronauts. This film was an Amazon Prime original film. In the same vein as maybe Around the World in 80 Days, in the sense that trying to achieve something that people think is impossible. In this film, the thing that they deem impossible is seeing how high a balloon can get. They practically make it to space in this film, and apparently it's based on a true story. Ready or Not, what a great film. This is not how the main character Grace or anyone should spend their honeymoon, but by the end of this film and going through this film, I was rooting for Grace, and she delivered. This is a great action, horror, suspense, thriller movie. The whole plot revolves around Grace, the main character. She's attending her wedding, and on her honeymoon, as a part of joining the family, she has to play a game, and she picks the wrong card because the card that she picks is for the hunting game, and in the hunting game the family basically hunts you down, and if you survive till dawn you can join the family. If you don't, you're dead. She has no idea this is the game. It's again a dark comedy. I love dark comedies, but yeah, I was really rooting for Grace in this film, and she delivered. One of my favourite movies I've watched this month, hence why I'm rambling on about it for so long. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. I'm new to this, just trying to get my foot in the door pretty much. I have a few ideas for videos coming up. The main issue I'm finding at the moment is editing. If you'd seen my last video, my first video, I botched that edit job so bad. I thought the editing software was free. It said it was free, apparently it wasn't, because when I went to export the movie, I had to pay, and I didn't have the money to pay, so I had the watermark version instead, and I just took it. This time, all that's rectified. Still learning. But yeah. Have you seen any of these movies? What's your opinion on these movies? Are you going to watch any of these movies? Leave a comment below. Let's have a little discussion going about these movies. And again, if you enjoy, leave a like and subscribe. Blue Monkey out.